Okay, so episode 4 and 5. Look, y'all, I told y'all Edmund does too much. He did the big old jump after they separated, but just before the doors closed. He did write Calabria a love letter, and she read it. It was sweet. This is Kate and Nick, and I don't know, something about them, their conversations, or maybe it's their voices. I don't know, but it irritates me when they're speaking. I don't know. I'm just uninterested. There's Nick. Something about him really irritates me too, but I just can't put my finger on it. And this is Casey and and she tells Alabria that it's not Alabria, Calabria. I keep getting her name wrong. She tells her that her other boy, she was talking about her ex-boyfriend, which that's a big old red flag. But she was saying how her ex-boyfriend told her he could stop her from going on the show if he wanted to. Um Here's the thing. She's the type of girl that if she's still hung up on her ex-boyfriend, you could, it's obvious. um but she's trying to convince herself that she's not. So now Casey is in the pods with Patrick, and she tells Patrick about what her boyfriend said. Again, why are you bringing him up? Her ex-boyfriend. And she said that he told her to go on, he tried to convince her to go on another dating show. And even though they were still together at the time, and she didn't go, and it's just messy. But I will say the my previous video with the first couple of episodes, those couples weren't as messy. So I guess they saved the mess for the next couple episodes, because the other ones were kind of easy, and they met each other, fell in love, and got along thus far. But now here comes all the mess because Casey, this situation. So she tells Patrick about her ex-boyfriend, and he's like, "What the heck? Like, he wanted you to go on another dating show while you were still together, and you didn't break up with him?" And he was just like, mm, "I don't know about that." Right? But then it got really weird because she was telling him, no, nothing's going on with her ex or whatever. And then she starts talking to him like very sexual. And it was almost like that was her go to when she realized he was kind of backing off. It was so weird because I was watching it, but I was kind of doing something else. And then I was like, wait, what am I watching? Because she started telling him what she wanted to do to him. And it just came out of nowhere. It was like, oh, he's pulling away, let me do this. And I mean, it was working. It was working on him. But it was so weird because just before that, he was telling her, "I don't have a backup plan," implying that she does with her ex-boyfriend, and she was trying to convince him she wasn't. Then all of a sudden, boom, she started talking about what she wanted to do to him. It was so strange. Then we get to Mike and Megan, and She said her friends call her Sparkle Megan. I don't know if I believe that, but anyway, it's Mike and Megan. I don't like Mike. Something about him gives mm, like arrogant. I don't care for him. But for her, it's between Mike and Jordan. And Mike knows that Jordan is his competition, but he says he always gets what he wants. He acts like he does. Jordan's talking about, I think here he's talking about his connection, and Mike's just looking all smug because he feels like, he's got this. Now we have, I think her name's Kate. Kate and Nick. Um, this conversation took a turn quickly. She mentioned that she doesn't believe in God, and religion isn't a big thing for her. And after her mom passed away, she didn't believe there was a God, and he freaked out. I mean, he lost it. And she said, "I told you that," and I don't know, he misheard what she said. I don't know, but he was just like it, and he was devastated. She was like, I can her the look on her face was more like he all of a sudden went to this me mode. It's all about me and you hurt me. And she was annoyed. He tells her he has no choice but to break it off. So when she goes back to where the women are, she's talking and talked to one of the girls. I can't remember her name, but anyway, she looks really sad, right? So I'm thinking she's gonna like she had her head back and she was like, I thought she was gonna cry and say he hurt her, and she said he's terrible, and I laughed out loud because he was being annoying, but I thought she was hurt, but she was more annoyed at that point. She was like, he's awful because he was just going off. So now he's in the pod. Nick's in the pod with Annie, and he tells Annie he loves Annie now, and Annie's the one now. Now I get that this experiment that happens, but I just don't like Nick, so I feel like just making fun of him. So here's Nick now talking about Annie, or I don't know if he actually said Annie, but his other connection, or Annie's other connection, is right there next to him, which is Brendan. This was funny. So while Nick was talking, Joe was looking at he was looking at Brendan like, you talking about your girl. Brendan's feeling some kind of way, which is understandable. So he goes in the pods with Annie, and he's asking, he's talking to her, and he gets the sense that there's someone else, which I think he knows because it's Nick. And so he tells her, if there's somebody else, just tell me. So she does. And he said, basically, I'll walk away. But she said, you weren't, I think she said he wasn't validating her. And he said, well, I was, when they were in the pods having conversations about where they'd live and stuff like that, to him, he felt like he was. So Brendan is telling Jordan about the conversation with Annie and her having another connection. So now back to Casey and Patrick. And Casey, I guess her little talk worked because he told her he loved her and he proposed. She accepted. So now Brendan is, trying to convince Casey that she's the one for him, or he's the one for her, and that he can give her the life. I'm sorry, not Casey, Annie. That he can give Annie the life that she needs. And she said, "You never validated me," and he is like, he's really trying to change her mind. But she just kept saying, "Why didn't you choose me?" Like when they talked before, and when he walked away so easily, when he said, "Just tell me if there's someone else," she said, "Why didn't you fight for me?" It's a done deal. She said she was things changed for her because he didn't fight for her. She's torn, but she's going with Nick. Now here, this is a thing for me. Like when they do the meetups and stuff, I think there's a few couples, and I can't be the only one thinking this because I know Love is Blind, supposed to be blind on here. But I just feel like when they like, it's a couple of people when they see the person that they didn't choose, there's going to be drama, and I know the show loves that because that's when people start regretting. And I think she at this point, I'm feeling like when she sees Brendan, she's physically going to be physically attracted to him more than she is Nick. He was trying. Megan is in the pods with Mike, and he's trying to convince her also, and now she's all confused. He's trying to act like he's cool with it, and he's the bigger person, and just it's all cool. Just take your, make your decision, but it's bothering him. Jordan's in the pods now talking with Megan, and he's looking. He knows that she has another connection too. But he didn't know it at first. And he came in there and he was like, all the other guys, I'm glad I don't have to worry about that. That we're solid. And she said, oh, I do have another connection because she had two. She had three connections. So the one guy left, and so he thought that was the only guy she had a connection with. So he was all thrown off. Now he's worried. This is getting pretty long. So come back for part 2.